Hi, Dr. Bob Flower. This is Wednesday, September 25th, Master Pattern Report. Okay, so let's go over something for newcomers because we've gotten some criticism about our comments on the accuracy. The Master Pattern Report has a tremendously high rate of success, over 95%, on calling the date of a move. Our percentage on direction is nowhere near as good. It's somewhere around 60%. Right? And that's the way it's been almost from day one. Our record, simply recordings of these shows, will prove that out. Okay? So when people say are critical of the calls, please keep in mind of that information. And also, when we say a date, we mean a day before or a day after as a spread, okay? Because the way the system is designed, it does not take into account leap year and quarter days at the end of the year. Okay, we're just not at that point right now for a lot of reasons. So, but for the most part, we do, our hits are right on that day, and for the most part, within the day. Okay, so let's just have that clarification, okay? And I had one particular guy that stopped me one day. I was doing a lecture on Master Pattern, and he said, "That thing sucks. It only gives the date. It doesn't give the direction." Hello? If I can give the direction as accurately as I gave the hit, there wouldn't be a stock market. There wouldn't be a commodities market, because everybody would know about it, and there wouldn't be another side to it, okay? So it's nature taking its course. In any event, I had to get that off my chest, because I certainly don't want to misrepresent anything, and we're not in this for the money, that's for sure, not from our viewers. Okay, so let's talk about what's coming up, all right, some calls. The S&P, we have 3 dates coming up next week. Well, next week and the following week. October 2nd, October 7th, and October 10th. Silver, we have a call for the 3rd and the 8th. And oil, the 10th. Okay, October 10th. All right. So keep your eyes on those. And I would suggest you contact your broker. If you're a player, contact your broker and ask them about doing option spreads. Okay, close in, tight option spreads, so that, you know, if it blows out for the day, you know, it'll wipe out the one option, but you'll gain and make it up on the other, right? And or else you just want to take a chance and you figure, you know, well, it's going to make a move in a particular direction. Okay. Now, let's just talk about this, the economics of what's happening down in Washington, and you know, in long range, there's a pattern forming which throughout history has led to one of two things: internal reform, and that could be as dramatic as revolution, or it could just be, you know, complete change of governance, or war, major war, not Afghanistan or Iraq. I'm talking about war. I don't think there's going to be a war of that magnitude in the future of this country. I could be wrong. 2017 is going to show that. But I will say this. If this, if these morons in Washington don't get their crap straight, there's gonna be some serious stuff in the streets. I mean, there's no two ways about it. People cannot afford to live. The reason why unemployment is so high is because the government is giving out unemployment for what, 100 weeks now? I mean, over 2 years. Who wants to work when you can get the, good money from the government, tax-free, get a little part-time job, you're making more than you were before? Of course people are not gonna work. That's number one. Number two, companies are cutting back. And they're cutting back primarily because of the healthcare costs, the Obamacare. It needs to be reformed. You don't want to get rid of it, Mr. Obama? Fine, change it, because it sucks. It's terrible. People can't afford it. I mean, you get young people coming in all the time. What are you kidding? I'm paying $45 a month now, and with next year with Obamacare, I'm going to be paying $115. And my deductible is going to be double or triple. And that's not good politics. I mean, it may be good for your ego, but that's not going to work out. That's certainly not good economics. So the young people that are supposedly supposed to help, it's going to hurt, and it's certainly hurting the middle class. So we've got to be cognizant of the people that we have representing us. And what needs to be done, in my opinion, is we need to have a system closer to the Swiss system of cantons. They have 16 different states, if you will. They call them cantons. And they're all autonomous. They do have a federal governance, but it's more of a directional, informational thing, representational on international levels and international matters. It does not have anything to do with the individual cantons, okay? And that was originally what the United States was supposed to be. Clearly, the states were in control, and now we've lost that, and because we've lost that, everything is going downhill. And I really feel sorry for the young people in this country, because they don't have the opportunities that I did, and my peers. Because things were more open then. They weren't as restrictive. And you had greater opportunities. They weren't as prohibitive in the sense of finance as well. It's not only government interference, but our institutions, our finance institutions, lending institutions have become so sophisticated that it's almost impossible for an average Joe to get a deal, to borrow. I mean, it's becoming ridiculous. And then you throw on top of that the thinking of the courts, no foreclosures, or foreclosures. You get the first 50,000 or 100,000. I mean, that might sound good for those of you that are in trouble, but it's not good for longevity. It's not good for a system. It doesn't work. If you had $100,000 and somebody came up to you and said, listen, I know you're making 2% in the bank, put a first mortgage on my house and I'll give you 6% or 6.5%. It's a good deal. So you lend it, you figure you got the collateral in it. Now all of a sudden, the guy gets in trouble, either he doesn't, or he's a bum, or what have you, he doesn't pay his mortgage, and you go to court. And the court says, no, that's cruel and harsh. You can't just foreclose on this guy. You have to give him time. How much time? Well, 3 years. Let's give him 3 years. You have to wait. But he's not paying me, Your Honor. Listen, that's your risk. That's a system that doesn't work. It may work for those people who are in the house, but think about this. The guy who now invested his money is never going to invest again. So when the guy in the house, when his kids grow up, and they go to that same guy and say, hey, I need a mortgage. Sorry, shame on you first time, shame on me the second time. So we got to understand that everything is related here. You can't just walk out in life on a on a cloud and say, that shit don't, that doesn't apply to me. Washington, they're all the same and everything else. Well, they weren't the same 50 years ago. They weren't the same 100 years ago, and they weren't the same when we started. So if we could change going down, we need to make the effort to change it to bring it back up. Okay? And I can't say this enough. You got to call these morons, you got to send them emails, put it on automatic, send them faxes every day. I don't like what you're doing, I am not going to vote for you, and I'm going to tell my friends and family not to vote for you. I think you should be doing this, okay? And just continuously send that out. Now, you don't think that believe me, to get a United States Senator to move, it takes 300 letters, okay, on an issue, on a particular issue. That's not a lot. And that's the United States Senator. Can you imagine a congressman or a mayor or something like that, Now, we used to have a city council president in my city that if she had 4 people, her policy was if 4 people complained about a particular issue, she had hearings, she had investigations, she had people coming in. Believe me, especially now, because all they care about is staying in power and gathering control by virtue of the public. Give them what they want to hear. Okay? And finally, let me add this. America is not a democracy. America is not a democracy. It was never set up as a democracy. It was set up as a democratic republic. The difference is, democracy, the majority rules. A republic, a democratic republic, is the law rules, regardless of how, it could be one person that's right and 99,999 that are wrong. That one person prevails. Okay? So keep that in mind and don't be taken in by the bull, unless it's a stock market bull. Have a good week.